Cast from the Coast.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
This 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Have you checked the children?
Welcome everybody to They Cast from the Coast, the cult and horror web series from Eastern Canada. My name is Adam Miles, and I have with me as always Tim 7 Notes in Black Johnson.
Yeah!
This is an exciting episode. I didn't want to do anything too funny. I wanted to do something
No, that was good.
good.
Because that's my connection to Mr. Fabio Frizzi.
Yes, that's amazing. How you doing tonight, Tim?
I'm just vibrating. I'm jazzed. I don't know if it's the 3 coffees I had, the conversation we are going to have tonight, or just all of the above, but I'm excited. I'm excited. Hey, we get to talk to a
living
icon.
legend.
Yes, in a man, we watch so many of his movies, and we know this man's music, and he's just a composing genius.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
As you can tell.
Absolutely, man. No, I didn't. Dude, I've been feeling the same way all week. I've been just absolutely excited for this. And the wife, Mick, she knows that I don't get really nervous about this stuff, and that actually kind of bothers her more than anything, because she's like, are you sure you're not holding something in? This was the closest I've ever been to being truly nervous dealing with this. You know what I mean? Because I just Lloyd Kaufman, you know what you're getting with Lloyd Kaufman. Mr. Frizzi, we know his work, but I mean, honestly,
I don't know him.
I don't know him.
Right.
And I'm just I'm.
But if you want to get deep,
excited.
We do know him.
We do,
because he puts his heart and soul into every piece of his music.
Tim, that's very deep.
So we do know him.
We do know him. So that means that tonight's conversation is going to be beautiful, and he is going to be a very lively person.
Yeah.
And it will be an amazing conversation. I will put it on that. So I'm looking forward to that too. So
absolutely.
Dave!
Hey!
I just got a new haircut, Miles!
You're going to reuse that, aren't you? That's going to be the next couple of episodes or something like this. It's just going to be the same thing over and over.
It's going to be the same
Look
thing.
how smart he looks with that little sharp haircut. All groomed and...
I had to look my best for the show tonight.
Absolutely.
That's why I got the little... It's not a man bun, but it's my hair's pulled back, and I'm,
kind of a baby man bun.
A baby man bun.
It's like a baby man bun.
Depends on how you say that. It's either a baby man bun or it's a baby man bun. I don't know.
I like man bun. Baby
man bun.
Man bun.
Yeah, there you go. It's awesome.
Like you guys, I'm super excited for the show tonight. We've got Fabio on the show. This is a guy that, we've grown up listening to his compositions on some of the greatest Italian horror movies ever made. The Beyond, Zombie, Manhattan Baby, the list goes on and on. Even more recently, with Kill Bill, the guy's a genius.
Yeah.
Even though certainly we have our differences when it comes to some of these Italian movies as far as content, script, dialogue, sometimes these movies, they have their flaws, like a lot of movies.
Well, it's like any piece of art. It's subjective. People either like it or they don't. And it's not taking away from any of the genius that goes behind it, right? So
exactly, and that's exactly where I'm going with this. Is even though some of these movies certainly have their flaws, I think the big takeaway from our previous episode was the amount of respect and the amount of appreciation we all had for the soundtracks for those movies. City of the Living Dead and the beyond. I mean, if anything, you can almost forgive some of the plot holes and some of the dialogue and everything else. Really, what sticks out so much with those movies is the amazing soundtrack, the composition for those movies. Yeah. And we mentioned it several times in that episode, and it's so cool to have Fabio on the show tonight. I can't wait to have a chat with him. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. Oh man, I've been floating. So, I got just cloud nine, man.
Float like a butterfly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And so, with that, once again, I just got to put this in here to remind everybody, the whole reason why this is happening is thanks you very much to Ship to Shore. Label out of Brooklyn and New York area.
Ship to Shore!
Yeah! So contacted by Stephanie, their PR, she basically said, hey, we'd love you to, to talk about this, and hey, would you like to talk to Fabio? And I'm like, me? Us? Yes, we'd like to talk to Fabio, and it's been an absolute pleasure, setting this all up, and he's coming to do a 2017 North American tour, and he's going to be hitting the East Coast. Unfortunately, not Canada by the looks of it. But
boo.
When he boo, did you say boo or Boo Earns?
No, I just said boo.
You just said boo, but
I said Boo Earns.
But
anyways.
Yeah, moving on. But when he hits New York, he's going to be doing 2 nights over Halloween. Now, how damn cool would it be to see Fabio Frizzi live on Halloween, in Halloween time period, and, in New York? That's just amazing. So we're going to have somebody on the ground who's potentially, if he's still available, I really hope that he is. If not, I got a backup. He's going to go to the show, and he's going to report to us.
We're going to have a roving reporter.
We're going to have a roving reporter, guys.
Wow, we're moving up, boys.
Big Cast from the Coast is going to have a representative at the show. How cool is that, guys?
It's amazing, especially with the fact that it's a very good friend of mine, and we'll tell you guys more about it when it happens, and he'll come on and he'll announce it. But
let's wait till it happens first.
Yeah. Make sure that it happens, just because in case I got to go, plan B, here's another guy, right?
Yeah.
But I've already confirmed he's on the guest list, and he's ready to go for whatever show he wants to go to. So nice. we'll get into that anyway. Oh man, my week has been torn. I don't have a lot to say, guys. I don't know if you guys have anything to say for the round table. I'm pretty much empty because I've been working trying to get this done and getting us to this point. So feel free to jump in if there's anything you guys have. If not, we're going to move on.
Sounds good. Let's move on. Let's talk to Fabio.
Yes! Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will come back after a quick little break, a quick little announcement from our friends.
Little teeny-tiny
announcement, and we'll talk to Fabio.
Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Entertainment and creator of The Toxic Avenger. You know, folks, when we're not making those great movies like Tromeo and Juliet and Return to Nukem I, a.k.a. Volume 2, the Troma team and I like to kick back and listen to They Cast from the Coast. They Cast from the Coast is really the best entertainment, the best education, and the best emotional liberation that Lloyd Kaufman can possibly experience. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the next part of this episode, and we are being joined by one of the masters of composition, composure, music, everything, a man that we have listened to forever and thoroughly enjoyed everything that he's produced. Credits include Zombie. Credits also include, man, where do I even start? The Beyond. Come on, guys. We have with us Mr. Fabio Frizzi.
Hello everybody. Ciao from my studio in Roma, in my house, in fact.
Studio's in my house too. We have the same idea going.
yeah. But, our life, I think, of your life, my life, it's something that it's something everyday life. I mean, since I was, I think, 14. Music and computer after some years has been my everyday, every hour life. So I need to have a little studio also into my apartment, obviously.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for joining us today, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here. We've been very excited leading up to this, and with good reason, as we stated on the last episode, which was just released. We are having you come onto the show to actually talk about the 2017 North American tour. Specifically, we have questions, obviously. Like, what was the inspiration to bring this tour about? Where does this come from?
This comes from, my life, my career. It's very, very long. I started, I was... more or less 20, and you see that nowadays some time has passed, and one of the most important people I met in my career was this director Lucio Fulci. I met him. I was quite young. I was 25, and then we worked together a lot of time. I think. Maybe 15 years with a lot of projects. And then I did everything else. I mean, many movies, many scores for movies, television, and everything. I always had the pleasure to change the way, so every now and then, but always in the music. Then Lucio went away quite a lot of time ago, and then. I had this idea to do something for him. I mean, to talk about him, about our collaboration, which was very important for my life of musician. And 4 years ago, more or less 4 years, I had the chance to build up something that I called Frizzi to Fulci, a dedication. And this was just an idea. So new musicians, I am a crossover musician. I am a conductor. I am an arranger. But I love also to play with bands all around. I mean, and that started 4 years ago. Italy, London. And then 2 years ago, we came for the first time in the USA. We had a five concert tour. Then last year, 7. And this year, we have the chance to come in the East Coast that we almost did not touch. And so we are very excited to be there for the third time. And New York, Boston, and many others. Then we will speak about this. Let's say that I am in love with my job, and I had always the chance to meet musicians who are the people who has the great passion. So also nowadays I have a manager and a musician. They are younger than me, but they may more or less have the same passion that I have. So we come there with a great pleasure, great emotions for us.
Beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So it sounds like it takes a lot to put this tour together. You know,
it started like not say like a joke, because our job is quite serious. I mean, but sometimes in your life you say, I think I have a good idea, and then you must understand if this is a real good idea. And I think that it was one, because it was the beginning of many things. The net, the internet, was one of the reasons. Since the social network, I understood that not only Lucio had Lucio and many other friends of mine. I mean, Sergio Martino and many directors I worked with, had so many people around the world who loved these movies, this kind, but not only the directors, but all these kind of Italian movies. And so I thought it could be very beautiful to go around and tell our stories. This was.
Oh, absolutely. That's beautiful. Now, something that's very interesting about what you're doing with this tour, like if we take, for example, the New York dates, there are two very distinctly different shows that you're doing. Can you tell us about those? The difference?
Yeah, as I was telling you, the project was born as a dedication to my directors, to Lucio, and to our cinema that we love. All over the world, the cinema is changing a lot, and but things like these are coming day after day more interesting. I mean, we were after the first tour. We were playing Frizzi to Fulci. Frizzi to Fulci is one of the two things we will bring to New York. This is, in a quite a classical way. They are, I think, more or less 10 suites from each movie. I mean, the suite from The Beyond, the suite from Manhattan Baby. I play with a band, but like if they were a symphonic band. Mm-hmm. Every theme linked to the other, just to tell more or less the musical story of that movie, the other movie, and so. And this was the first idea. Then we were flying. I don't remember from where, but in the States 2 years ago. And one of my musicians, my classical guitar player, Riccardo, told me, "But Maestro, why don't we do some live score from there?" And I told him, because Lucio didn't put so much music on movies, and I told him I don't want to be on the stage playing 20 minutes during the 2 hours movie. Now it's like to be, we would say in Italiano, come delle statuine, like the statues. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and Riccardo tells me, "But Maestro, you wrote the score, so you can maybe do something on it." So that day I decided the second project from them, which is the Beyond, the Composer's Cut. After some months, I began to. I had the cooperation of a friend in LA, Bob Muraski, Bob from Grindhouse. He had the possibility to give me let's say the score, not the score, the soundtrack, vocal effects without music, so I could work on, because this is the only chance you have to work on the original.
Yes.
He had the royalties from Lucio. He bought them, and he was so kind to send me everything. I worked 6 months and I also found the notes that I took with Lucio, so I could re-put in this new score something that maybe Lucio decided to keep off in the mix in the end, no, in the mixing. So this was the second project, a spin-off, if you want, of Frizzi to Fulci. Mm-hmm. And we noticed since last year that many people like to see again this movie with a new score. I wrote also a new theme which links many situations, and I found that the people, I was not so sure because if you love a movie, you love that movie. But my proposal was not to change the original, was to give another reading, musical reading of this movie. And I can tell you that everywhere people is liked, I think, very much this idea.
Very nice.
So New York is Frizzi to Fulci and the Beyond, the Composer's Cut.
Sounds like an amazing time for sure.
I hope to meet you there. So you will tell me after the concert. Oh, it's quite good. All right.
I wish I could. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can make it, but we do have a friend who's going to be going to the show on our behalf. So he'll be coming onto the show and telling everybody all about it, and you know what, he'll be there, so I'll tell him to search you out and personally tell you his thoughts.
Okay.
Absolutely. So Dave, Dave, you had a question?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've heard, from Ship to Shore, that there's going to be some special edition vinyls available at the show. What can you tell us about those vinyls?
I can tell you that we must be very grateful to Justin Martel, or Martel, I don't know the pronunciation. Mm-hmm. He's a young guy from New York. It's a fan, but it's a person who works in the field, and he contacted us for those two concerts, and he is in love with my repertoire, let's say. So he told us that he has got a Ship to Shore. This is, I think, a label.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to do something very special. So we decided to put the original version of Zombie, the Zombie theme, and of I think that is the Cum Resurget Creatura, which is in the Beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah, and it's a new way for listening to it, and obviously in the concert there will be also those two themes.
Perfect.
Nice.
Tim.
Very good.
Tim, buddy.
Oh,
yeah.
Have you? I was drawn into the conversation. Have you felt a resurgence in the popularity of Italian horror?
I can tell you, as we say, frankly, that I think that there are so many young directors that are growing everywhere, because I call many of them the children of Lucio and other directors, because I think that my wife doesn't like so much this kind of movies, but when sometimes we saw the Fulci movies, she told me, but they feel like movies of today, because they are very sometimes they are very old. Maybe sometimes when you listen to the dialogue, you feel that they have 40 years. They are 40 years old. But in the colors, the way of telling, the directing the actors, it's very. For example, the Beyond. It's really. We think it's really a pretty good movie. Also for today, a little slow if you want, because nowadays the editor is very fast. But you can. It's 1 hour and a half, 90 minutes that you can enjoy still today. And I think many young French in Spain, in Italy, in the States. I have plenty of friends that do pretty short movies. And I think that maybe this will be the new frontier, the new border. And obviously, I'm very happy that you can breath in many of these little good projects something from Italy. I mean, these that are people who want to dub the American actors in Italian. It's quite weird. This, but I mean, the cinema is maybe in a big crisis all over the world. But the enthusiasm of people who like this kind can give something new. Can make this a rebirth. I think. I can tell you that everywhere we go, I always say we cannot fill a stadium, a great stadium, because no, we are not U2 or things like this. But everywhere we go, in every country, there are many people who come, who know these products, and who say we love. We are so happy to hear directly live this music, to see those movies. So I think that there is something that can give a kick ahead to some kind of genre movies.
Absolutely. Dave?
Yeah, I'll just add to that, I guess. From what I've seen anyway from the horror industry, we have seen a bit of a resurgence in Italian-type horrors or giallo movies. And one great example is over the past couple of years, there were a couple of movies released. One was Sono Profondo, and the other one was Francesca. And these were actually made in South America, but when they were made to imitate or be an homage to, the 70s giallo-type Italian horror movies. And they've done it on purpose to try and replicate the look and the feel, and even so far as the soundtrack itself, to try to replicate, the feel of those movies. So we are seeing a little bit of a resurgence in Italian horror, but it's not necessarily it's modern filmmakers paying homage with new works and making it look like and feel like those Italian type horror movies from the 70s.
Yeah.
But this is absolutely true. I think in Italy we have grown loving. There is an adjective that we use. We say esterofilo, means that we used to love things, artistic things that came from abroad. No, so for example, Beatles, were from England. So many incredible movies from the States, and so it's a good feeling to understand that nowadays there is something like a wave in the other direction. I mean, listen, I think, David, I think that our way of doing giallo and horror, and so we're poor under the finance. We were not so rich. Lucio did those movies with maybe the 10%, maybe less than 10% of a good American movie. But I think that there were ideas. And everywhere in the artwork, you have to. The most important thing is to have idea, personality, and maybe this kind of personality has remained in people who want to do movies nowadays, and they try to. For example, I have a friend. It's not a professional. I have a friend in Philadelphia. He did many short movies, well done, and he has the passion for Italy, and he wants everything. I think that maybe the good thing would be to take a sensation, then go straight ahead through a good new idea, But I think it's not so bad to have some reminiscence of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, absolutely, yeah.
You got another question to follow that up, Dave, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes time to compose a new score or a score for a new movie, how do you prepare for that? What goes into the development of a new score?
Let's say that it's always quite different. I mean, sometimes you read the script before they start to shot. Sometimes not. You arrive in the last moment. Let's say that I think that for a good musician, a good composer, the best thing is to be like in a psychological situation. I mean, you must enter. I love to say that the musician is one of the actor. The music is one of the actor, and sometimes it's one important actor of the movie. So you must, the thing that I always try to do, it's for a comedy, for a horror, for every kind. I try to be, I don't know, touched by the story, to feel myself into the story, to have sensations, and then I obviously I speak with the director. In Italy, the most important people in the movie is the director. In the States, is the producer, and you have to speak with them to understand, and to have the same. The very important thing is that writing a theme for a movie is not only the problem of writing a good music. You have to write something that goes along with the story. So sometimes it happened also with Lucio, with other Italian. Maybe they couldn't like something that, according to me, was a great theme, because they wanted to correct the music direction. So this is maybe the biggest problem. But let's say that I try to let me in the story. Let me be involved in the story. This is the most important. Then the artist. I mean, or the you have to like people who work on wood. You have to cut. You have to have an idea, and then day after day. It's a long. For me, in my situation, in my life, writing a thing. Sometimes it's a long thing. You have an idea, and then it changes day after day. It's artwork.
Well, that kind of answers my next question. I was going to ask about inspiration. Sounds like the movie itself and getting involved and becoming part of the story is your main inspiration. So we'll kind of skip me and we'll go to Tim.
In order to get a feel for the tone of what you're going to be composing, have you ever gone to like the movie set or had conversations with the director, producers, or whatever, or do you end up just waiting till the rough cut of the movie's done before you start composing?
Let's say that sometimes it happened. For example, we were talking about the Beyond, the Beyond and City of the Living Dead. That was a moment in which with Lucio we were often together. So the good thing that was that. Maybe they were shooting some scene here in Roma, and this can be useful because, for example, I don't know if you know very well the score of the Beyond. Maybe you. For example, there is the theme of the piano, the Emily theme. The Emily is the blind girl, no? Dun 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 dun. This one. Yep. I was on set, and they were shooting one of the scene in the house of the girl, of the Emily, and we were together. And there was an old piano, out of tune, blam, 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 like this. And Lucio comes and tell me, listen, Fabio, I need a theme for this piano. She will play sometimes in the movie. So, and I went home and I put my piano in front of me and I start. So these are the beautiful things that can happen. Sometimes only reading, only being by yourself. Sometimes with them. So it's also a pleasure to meet actors, to the photography is a great friend of mine, and we were together. And something can help you to get to the top, to the target you have to join.
Very nice.
Just kind of curious. I mean, I know you probably love all of your scores, but I'm curious: is there one particular score that sticks out that would be classified as your favorite?
It's a question that I received quite a lot of time. And the first thing I say, and I tell also to you, Dave, is that I've got 5 children, and I cannot say which is the because the other could kill me. So, but no, I can tell you that. For example, I have some little passion. For example, there is a movie always by Lucio, which is not the best Lucio movie, which is Manhattan Baby. But the score for me is one of I love so much this kind. You know, Dave, there is something quite weird for a composer, but maybe even you're right. I don't know if you. I think that when you do something, music and so, when you compose it, now I have my piano over there. I can write it, and tonight I say, well, it's not. I have to, and then we can record it, and when the movie goes or the record goes out. After a while, the music is not more yours. I mean, it's something that you hear, listen to, like you do with my music. I mean, so it's quite strange to after so many years, to listen to a theme and say, sometimes you can, it's not a great thing, but maybe sometimes you say, oh, wow, what an idea I had this day. It's really a good thing. I think that. Sure, the most complete of these works that I did in that moment was The Beyond. It's the first I started writing a composer's cut also for this, because there is the orchestra, there is the band, my great musicians of then, some of Goblin, because my bass player was Fabio Pignatelli, and my drummer was Agostino, and the orchestra and the choir. So maybe this was the point in which with Lucio I did the best. So I would say The Beyond. But in my mind, every one of these moments has a fascination.
Absolutely.
Oh, very good, very good. I'll just throw it out there. The Beyond is actually my favorite soundtrack as well. My favorite composition. It's wonderful. And the piece that I like the most is Ultra La Soglia. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Ultra La Soglia.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess to kind of add on to that question, do you have a favorite score that you wrote that hasn't been written, like used for a movie yet?
You mean the soundtrack I love the best outside Minds?
Yeah.
I love so many composers. You can imagine I am. I know very well. I cannot say I'm friend, but I know Morricone personally. I did know many Italians and not only Italians, but. I have a passion also in this. There is a movie that I loved since it came out. It was Blade Runner, and by Vangelis was the score. And I was and I am in love with that score. I know that now it's coming out the new one. Yeah, and I'm so afraid because you know when you have a painting, a perfect painting, like Mona Lisa. How can you do a new Mona Lisa? It's difficult, no?
Yeah.
But I can tell you that in that moment I was more or less 23, 24, and a lot of my music was influenced by Vangelis because I loved in him the melody. I love melody. I think that melody must be a little bit in every music you listen to, but also the creativity, the free creativity. And I loved I loved also the movie. According to me, it's a movie that every time I see, I look at, I find something new, a new message, a new idea. It's so full of things. So I can say I have to say this one.
Nice.
Nice. Very good. Yeah.
How did you first meet Lucio Fulci, and what was your first collaboration together?
This is quite incredible. Allora, Lucio was a very strange people. Great friend with not easy character, not easy way, but. And I was very, very young. I mean, he could have the age of a father for me. But the great story with Lucio was in the field of horror, sure, fantasy and horror. But we met, and I had a trio in that moment. It was called Bixio, and another musician, Frizzi, me, and Tempera, the third one. And we were. There was a publisher we were working with, and he called us for a western. It was called I Quattro dell'Apocalisse, the Four of the Apocalypse. So this was our first meeting with him. We went. The movie was almost ended. He just needed the post production. So. They had put a music. How can you say a reference music? Just to listen to something. A template, let's say. Yep. And the tragic was that the template was Bob Dylan, so it was not easy to fight against. It was a knock knocking on heaven's door. So all the movie was filled with this. And in the end, me and my two cooperators went to Lucio. Nice to meet you, Mr. Fulci. Nice to meet you. And he says, I would like to have some songs like this. And he said, it's quite impossible. But because Bob Dylan is Bob Dylan. But in fact, I was in love with the West Coast, with traditional music. I love the Crosby, Stills, Nash Young and people like this. So the street was not so difficult, to try. And we wrote, in fact, 8 songs. There was a singer from, I think, from Holland who came to sing. And it is still a good remembering and a good score. In fact, in the Frizzi to Fulci, there is a dedication to this movie, which is not how an horror, but it's, I think, a good music to listen to.
Absolutely. Dave, take us out, Dave.
Sounds good. So the last question that we have for you is, after the tours are over, what's next?
It's for a museum as 66-year musician, which feels like an 18 years old musician. The projects are so many. Now I can tell you that there is something that I never did, but just have done recently. There is. Sure, you know that there are some labels in the world that works on something like radiodrama. I mean, there is a story told by a good actor, and there is a score, just voice and score. And I can tell you that in a few days, I think this week, there is Cadabra record was going out with my first project called there is one of the most beautiful story of Lovecraft, which is called A Picture in the House, and I did this experiment. For me, was the first time, and I treated it just like a movie. And Jonathan Dennison, which the chief of that label, was enthusiastic, and I think that I will have to do one in a few months on Edgar Allan Poe. But it's something new for me, really. Then other concerts in Europe, I think, and I think that we will give the announcement that. Next year, I will try to do another composer's cut on another movie of Lucio Fulci.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Very nice. We look forward to hearing about that. Absolutely.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Well, that's pretty much all the questions that we have for you today, sir. We just really, really would like to thank you for joining us on the show, and just the stories, the musings, serenading us on a break. That was beautiful. Sorry, I wish we would have recorded that. And we wish you all the best. And
thank you.
We'll have this all posted up for all of our fans to listen to. And we're going to follow up after the actual concerts with our friend who will be in attendance. And we'll make sure to keep in touch. And thank you very much again for all your time.
It was really a great pleasure, and I hope that maybe one day we'll meet somewhere.
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
That is now on my list of please let this happen universe.
Thank you so much, guys.
Drinking with Frizzi. Perfect. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you. Same to you.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in this week to They Cast from the Coast. We hope you enjoyed the topic and the discussion that we've had tonight. We're very excited about everything that's being produced right now in conjunction with the Misunderstood Art Company. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, say hi in the comments section, and just in general check out the other content that's being offered, once again, under the Misunderstood Art Company. If you want to listen just to the audio portion of this show itself, we're making it available on iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn on top of the YouTube channel itself. So thank you very much again for your continued support. Check out the rest of the Misunderstood Art Company's offerings. You might even see some familiar faces. And until next time, take it easy.